Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at another CCC from 2013. It's an S2. Not sure why it's an S2. It's pretty easy. It's called bridge transport. So let me show you here. Ignore this function right here. This is just to convert files. So I essentially took let me show you right here just what this is. I took the files from the Waterloo competition, put them all in here, and essentially these are the files straight from Waterloo. And in order for me to take these files and put them in an array for my students to do in a test, I kind of have this function that converts files to ints, and I've done that right here. So all of this pertains to that. So ignore all of that. Let's look at the problem. So problem description, a train of railway cars attempts to cross a bridge. The length of each car is 10 meters, but their weight might be different. The bridge is 40 meters long, thus can hold 4 train cars at one time. The bridge will crack if the total weight of the cars on it at one time is greater than a certain weight. The cars are numbered starting at 1, going to n, and they cross the bridge in that order. So 1 immediately followed by 2, which is immediately followed by 3, and so on. What is the largest number of T of railway cars such that the train of cars 1 to T in order can cross the bridge? So here we've got essentially an array of cars with different weights, and we want to know how many cars can pass the bridge without cracking, and it'll be 4 cars at a time. So input specification, you're going to have an array of integers. The first number is the maximum weight, so it's anywhere from 1 to 100,000, right? So the first number in the array is the weight that it can handle, that the bridge can hold at any particular time. The second number is the first number, and the number is anywhere from 1 to 100,000, which is the number of railway cars that we wish to move across the bridge. On each of the next lines, there will be a positive integer. Okay, so let's check this out. So a sample input, 100, 6, 50, 30, 10, 10, 40, 50. So essentially the 100 is how many, that's the weight of how many cars that we could handle. 6 implies how many cars there will be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the output is 5. Why? Because 50 can go on the bridge, 50 and 30 can go on the bridge, 50, 30, 10, and 10 can go on the bridge because that's 100. We haven't exceeded it yet. But as soon as 40 comes along, so this goes away, 40 goes along, so it's these 4 on the bridge that can still handle it. 30, 10, 10, and 40, that gives us 90. But as soon as that goes away and we do this, it'll crack. So 10, 10, 40, 50 is 110. So really we could only have this much on the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the only cars that will pass. Therefore 5. Okay? So let's go ahead and run the app because this is going to take a while to convert. And let's see here. Xcode is not running again. Let's have a look here. And if we do run this, it says running. And there we go. Yeah, the reason I want to run it before I explain the code is because converting all these files takes a while, because file 10 and 11 have like 100,000 numbers to them, so it's going to take a while. As you could tell, it's running. Anyways, running and screen recording. It's taxing my computer here. But let's look at the code. It's actually really simple. It's a bunch of if statement and a for loop. So let's have a look here. So I create a function called find answer, and I take in one parameter. It's an array of integers, and I output one integer. All right. So the array of integers, I'm gonna call it given array, but since in Swift this is a constant, so I take that and I put it in true given array just so that I could mutate it and play around with it. So this becomes mutable. This is not mutable. This is a constant. That's a Swift thing. And then I create a variable called final amount of trucks, which I'm going to increment, and then I'll return that as the answer. I create a variable var max weight, and essentially max weight is equal to true given weight dot remove first. So I go to the first element and I take it, I remove it, and I put it in max weight. Why? Because remember, the first element that they're giving us, the first element is going to be a number, and that's how much the bridge can handle. Great. So now I have it in a variable. That could really be a let, to be honest, because I never mutate that. Okay, number of trucks. So true given array. 0, right? And that's the first element. And I go number of trucks. Again, this could be a let as well because I never mutated. Okay, true given array, remove first. Obviously, I'm removing this first element. I could do this actually just to make it more efficient. See, I write these solutions pretty quickly. I could do this and kind of save a line here. All right, perfect. So let's have a look here. So if true given array, so now that I've removed the first two elements, which is how much the bridge can handle and how many arrays there are, which really this second thing is useless for my solution. Don't need it. But I go and I check. So if true given array is less than or equal to max weight, then go ahead and increment final amount of trucks by 1. Why? Because final amount of trucks is how many trucks can go by. And if the weight of the first car is less than the bridge, then we know one car at a minimum can go by. So we're going to go ahead and add 1. But if it's not, if the first car weighs more than the bridge can handle, we're going to return 0. The second if statement, if the first car and the second car combined is equal to or less than the weight, then go ahead and increment another one, right? So we incremented 1, we're going to increment another one. And it's essentially going to be 2 cars that can pass by. Otherwise, return 1, just this one right here. And we do the same thing for 3, right? So if 1, 2, and 3, right, can all cross the bridge, they're all less equal to or less the weight, then we're going to add another one to final amount of truck, right? We're going to increment it by 1. Otherwise, return 2. So I do that for 1, 2, and 3. And then this for loop does 4 and above. So I've got a for loop here that goes from 0 to true given array.count. Again, goes to but not includes the last element. That's what that is, dot dot less than, as opposed to dot dot dot. And I'm going one by one. It's a for loop. I'm saying if true given array index, so 0, index plus 1, so 1, index plus 2, so 2, and index plus 3, so 3. If all 4, 0, 1, 2, and 3, if the first 4 cars are equal to or less than the max weight, then increment another one. So now that's 4. Else return final amount of trucks. Else return what it is before this for loop, which is 3 at this point. But if it does execute, go ahead and add 1, and then we do it again, except this time it's going to be 1. So it's going to be index 1, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then if it is, increment another one. Then it'll be 2, 3, 4, and 5. Increment another one if it's still below the weight. Then 3, 4, then 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth, until eventually the 4 that we're looking at, this part doesn't execute, and we have to go to the else, and essentially it returns the last amount of the final amount of trucks, and that's what it returns. So let's have a look at this. So in the first file that we were given, 0 trucks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 78, 517, 216, 9,760, 35,467 trucks will go. And if you look at these files, you'll see why. Let's say this one is 0. So the bridge can handle 500, the weight, 500 kilograms, let's call it. There's 10 trucks, and the first truck is worth 501. Bridge can handle even the first truck. Here, the bridge can handle 501, and the first truck is 501. But as soon as we put the second truck, it'll be 502 and can't handle it. 500, 499, 1, that could handle it, can't handle it anymore. 498, can handle it, can't handle it anymore. And then kind of changes here. And as you could tell here in the last one, it's a really big list. It's actually 100,000. I'm not going to scroll through the whole thing, but you could look at this thing and you could see how slow it goes. Anyways, this is a big list. That's why it took a while to compile. But if we go back, that's essentially the code. Thought it was a pretty easy example, to be honest. Pretty easy problem is what I meant to say. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.